Everybody, please arm yourself with pens and shield yourselves with graph paper. You are joining me, GM Comfortable Gray Sloth, at Session 0 of Fabula Ultima. Press Start. You can call me Elijah, Eli, GM, DM, Gray, Sloth, anything appropriate. So long as I know you're addressing me, I promise I will give you my utmost attention. This is a free one-shot, and I'm very happy to share it with you all. I usually do my one-shots in a free way because I'm still getting my feet into the boots of the system. I just want to go around the table, have people introduce themselves, tell us your preferred nomenclature, your pronouns if you want to share them, and then I want you to tell me the concept for the character you want to play today, starting with FSPN 2000.
Hi, FSPN 2000. My real name's Chris. You can call me FSPN or Chris. Doesn't matter. I've been playing role-playing games probably longer than Eli even. I've been playing since about 1980. Started with the purple box basic D&D, all the way up to indie games now, and every iteration of the Star Wars RPG. I've been gaming with Eli for about 8 months now. I think that sounds right. It was April when we started Star Wars.
Yeah, like April, March. Like March. I was just looking at that because I'm trying to do a supercut for Christmas. It was like March 15th was our first session.
And the character that I'm thinking about playing is a traveler, explorer with a very large backpack. So he's mostly the wayfarer class with some other things thrown in.
Next up is Gravelord Costanza. Please tell us your preferred nomenclature, a little bit about yourself, a little bit about the character you're dreaming of.
Hey, my name is Mike. I've been gaming for pretty much since the pandemic started, but scheduling issues and has repeatedly caused me problems. So I have not done a truly, I haven't done like a really long game yet. My character I envision more as a I like the protector class from when I kind of flip through the rulebook. I'm kind of an armored knight who is on a mission of sorts.
Awesome, perfect, succinct, very sweet. Links Minx, you're next. Please tell us about what you want us to call you, who you want us to know you as, and who you want to play.
So on Discord, I go by Links or Links Minx. My pronouns are she and her. I've been gaming for a while, but when I was a teenager and younger, I wasn't really allowed to play role-playing games. Very sheltered childhood. But I definitely escaped into fiction. So a lot more reading of gaming than actually getting to play. But thanks to the internet, I've gotten to expand my horizons a lot and play a lot of different games in the last few years. And so I want to play an alchemist. So it's one of the subclasses of being a tinkerer. So basically just really go into making potions and doing that kind of stuff.
That's cool. Subclass is a fine way to think of it. You're pulling that D&D 5e nomenclature over. It's super cool. And at level 1, if you dive deep into a Tinkerer, you can kind of cap out on your alchemy possibilities, and then the character can just grow more wide in power and concept. Noble, you're next.
Yes, I am Noble. You can call me that, or simply call me Paul. Either one will be fine. Let's see. I, too, am a GM, albeit more so for City of Mist and games similar in that vein. I kind of have an odd history. I've only been playing officially for 3 years and GMing that long, but it's kind of funny because technically I feel like I've been doing it longer because I was doing it before I ever knew it was a thing. Me and my nephews and me and some of the family, we just created our own game and we would pass time we just created our own role-playing system. So technically, I've been doing it a lot longer, but there was no official system. We were just messing around. I didn't even know that there was such a thing. I mean, I heard of Dungeons and Dragons, but I didn't know how to play it or anything like that. So, what drew me here is huge JRPG fan. Grew up playing Final Fantasy, Breath of Fire, things of that nature. Character concept is mainly a elemental archer. So another factor why I wanted to play this is in 5e, you could do it, but it's a much more harder to do it. You really have to multi-class or do these other things or homebrew. So I always had the concept of elemental warrior, in this case, an archer. That's my concept.
Nice. And yeah, Noble ran me through City of Mist. He showed me the ropes. It's a nice system. I might try to do that for a superhero game, but if you guys schedules match with Noble's, I would encourage you to try to join him on Start Playing. Next up is Sinokal.
Hello. My name is Sinokal or Sin. He, him. Honestly, you can just refer to me as Sin if that's all right. If Sinokal works for you, that's okay too. Character concept wise, I was thinking something like a kind of a scoundrel Han Solo-esque character, using pistols, being kind of a jerk. A scoundrel with a heart of gold sort of idea. As for tabletop experience, I started playing tabletop RPGs a few years ago when a friend invited me to his D&D campaign. And I've been trying to branch out ever since because D&D gets kind of rough sometimes.
D&D does. There's a plenty of, you might say, political issues with Wizards of the Coast and everything. I started with 3.5 and very shortly got into the World of Darkness when I was way too young to be doing that. So I've got away from the D20 very soon in my life.
I'm not going to discuss my issues with Wizards. All I'm going to say is that I would love to try Pathfinder, love to try Worlds of Darkness. I'm just trying to get away from Wizards, to be honest.
I appreciate your candor and also your temperance there. Jesse, go right ahead.
I am Jesse, Jay Jester. I go by he, him, and just call me Jesse. I'm playing Reiner Stagsent, and I am used to playing melee combat classes, so now I'd like to take a step away and try and be a spiritist wayfarer, or something like along those lines, be a little support.
All right, now we're getting into the situation proper. Now, everybody, please click on the little person, third tab, and then in there, click on PCs. You should see your character in there. Double click it, and you'll see your character sheet.
Ooh,
This is so fancy.
this is fancy. This is okay. Foundry, I'm going to use to run this game because goodness.
I would be happy to share the work I put into Foundry. A lot of it was data entry, and I have no problem sharing that with you for free.
That would be lovely, but I feel like that should probably wait till after we're done.
It
What
will
do we
have
need
to
to
wait.
do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now that you're looking at your character sheet, like maybe you see like your HP isn't maxed or anything like that. We're gonna go through each of these entries, and then we're kind of gonna go through the list and try to get people in the right idea. While you're waiting, we're gonna start with traits, which to me is the most important part of a character. Within the traits, there are 3 sections. The identity is what your character perceives them to be at this current moment. I need to note that at least one character must play the prospective heir to the throne of whatever kingdom we're starting in. By default in Press Start, this is Denova, and the typical character is Blair. But do we have any volunteers to play the prospective heir? Chris came up with a cool idea where one player plays the heir and everybody else is vying for the same position. Maybe we have a couple bastard childs in there as well. Any volunteers?
My guy's too old. He can't be an heir.
I don't know if it makes... Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, if no one's jumping at it, yeah, I'll try.
Well, I mean, I could try it with the alchemist type character, like well-educated kind of thing.
I
Like
don't,
literally any class could fit with
I know,
that
really.
identity.
I don't think it would make sense for my character, just the way he acts, to be a royal.
And like I said, I'd be willing to be the bastard son of the former monarch.
The current monarch.
Yeah. Oh. Current
Maybe
monarch, yeah.
Maybe a former royal guard from there that got left due to disagreement.
So,
So
my thought.
Yeah, what's your thought?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, any volunteers, and then you go ahead while we're waiting for that.
Well, I wasn't going to mention about the hair, but I was thinking maybe, as somebody said, royal guard. That was my thought too. Why I was going to jump in.
So yeah, if you already have an idea for your identity, go ahead and put that in. It seemed like maybe Lynx was the one who was the most optional prospective heir. So I want Lynx to put prospective heir to the throne as their identity.
Okay.
Everybody else, go ahead, write whatever you want into your identity. And Jesse, what do you have in mind?
For my identity,
What does your character see themselves as at this moment? This is a
trying to
trait
think
that
of
can
how he
change across
be.
time. On session 2, your character's identity can change if the circumstances are appropriate.
I guess his identity would be kind of pompous, as he thinks that he's studied lots and he's smarter than others.
That's not quite it. That's more of a theme. We haven't gotten to the theme yet. Like, identity is like who they are, not how they act.
Well,
Like
as of right now, he is a kind of like aged man who seeks answers, and he's always buried face first in a book, trying to find like what could help him in life with these answers.
I'm going to write aged answer seeker.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Next up is the theme. And like he was saying, like the theme is kind of your character's goal or your character's drive. It could be an emotion, some kind of simpatico thing that says how your character approaches something or what your character wants to do. The suggestion in the start playing book is something like hate, love, fear, like something that makes your character do what they do. What's the theme of your character? And we got from Jesse, he was saying pompous.
Do you want it to be like one word or
It could be
more
a
of a
short
phrase?
phrase. It could be a phrase.
That helps, actually. Thank you.
And origin, we'll come back to origin because we haven't built the world yet, and the origin is where your character comes from. So your character's identity and theme can change and play, but the origin is static. Wherever your character comes from, that's where they come from. It could be from this world, some city, some terrain, or it could be from a different world. Your character could be some kind of time traveler, a dimensional hopper. You could be an isekai kind of situation where your character got hit by a bus and you woke up in Fabula Ultima.
Yep, Truck-kun is on the table. I would like to mention Truck-kun being on the table is very funny.
That is very funny. Is a great option. Then I'm just going to explain these things. Any questions so far?
Okay.
We're going through reading the character sheet. So from the top to the bottom, your HP is your hit points, your health points. That's how much damage your character can take. It can be a mixture of like narrative hit points and also your character's ability to avoid damage. When you hit 0 hit points, there is a narrative decision to be made, which we'll talk about later. MP is mind points. It's used for spells, many skills, and when your character hits 0 MP, all it means is your character cannot push themselves anymore to activate those abilities. You don't become unconscious when you run 0 MP. Next up is IP, inventory points. The equipment your character has, except for the armor and weapons and accessories they're currently wearing, are abstract in Fabula Ultima. So anytime your character says, I want to use a potion, you'd spend an appropriate number of IP, and then you would have that potion in your hand. If your character says, I want to pull up my lockpicks, that's when we get to make a decision. If your character's identity, theme, or origin match the equipment. Like if you said your identity is a royal guard, we have a couple of royal guards, right?
Yeah. Former Royal Guard.
So your character probably has some insignia, something to show that you are a royal guard. We don't put that in your character sheet. You would just say that your character has it. If somebody wasn't a royal guard and they wanted to say that they had picked up some type of insignia or something that doesn't make sense for their origin, identity, or theme, they would need to spend inventory points to say if they purchased one, they stole one, something like that. Make sense?
Okay.
Next up, to the right, is the Fabula points. Fabula points can be a little bit complicated because by spending them, you're actually giving experience to yourself and the rest of your group. Every character starts with 3 Fabula points. They can be spent for a few options. You can spend a Fabula point to invoke one of your traits, and that means you're going to re-roll the roll. So long as you didn't fumble the check, we'll go over fumbles, success, critical success, and failure in the future. As long as you didn't fumble, you can spend a Fabula point to invoke a trait and re-roll the check. You can also, if you scroll down, you see bonds. You can spend a Fabula point to invoke a bond that adds the strength of the bond to your roll. This one you can only do one time. A third thing is that you can use a Fabula point to alter the story. When you alter the story, you're always adding things to the scene. You can never subtract things. You're never going to contradict the current story when you alter the story. The fourth option is many skills are going to use a Fabula point as a resource that they use. They have an additional spot for resource points. We don't really have anything for that. Defense and magic defense, and defense. Those are derived by your character's dexterity and your willpower respectively, just like hit points and mind points are derived from your character's might and willpower respectively. That's going to be basically the difficulty level enemies need to roll to hit your characters. And now we're going to go into those 4 attributes: dexterity, insight, might, and willpower. The skills in Fabula Ultima aren't things like acrobatics, athletics, arcana. The skills are special traits or abilities your character has from their classes. So anytime your character is going to be doing something like sneaking around, they're going to make like a dexterity check. So the way checks work is you're always going to be rolling a combination of 2 attributes, like dexterity plus dexterity plus insight, might plus willpower. It really depends on what the check is, and we'll dive into that deeper later on. All of your characters get to choose basically 3 options. You can have a D8 in all of your attributes. That's the basic one. So you might want to just set all of your attributes to D8 right now.
The D10, 2 D8s, and a D6.
That's another option.
You get D6, D8, D10, and D12.
And so these are becoming increasingly more specialized as you kind of shift them around. But the default is a very well-rounded character, D8s and everything. But you can lower some D8s to a D6 basically and get some D10s here and there. You cannot go to a D12 at character creation. So the Jack of all trades is D8 and everything. The average character is a D8 and 2, a D6 and 1, and a D10 and 1. While a specialized character has a D10 and 2 and a D6 and 2. Jesse, do you want to be a jack of all, average, or specialized?
I was just gonna be average D8 across the board.
That's the jack of all.
Well, that's jack of all. Alrighty then.
And everybody else, go ahead, put those into your character sheets, and I think we can continue on to the classes / skills, and we can return to the attributes at another point because it's just character creation. It's all give and take.
Cool.
Now click on the 4th tab in right next to the person. It's like a little briefcase. The way I decided we're making characters in this is through the character options here. So click on character options. We might want to start with classes. We might want to start with skills even. I organize it so that when you look at the classes in there, you can scroll down and you can see what the skills are under that class if it helps you. But then you need to either look at the book or look at the skills and see what those skills actually mean. Jesse, can you see the sheet yet?
Yeah, I see these sheets and stuff.
Sorry, I'm back.
Welcome back. I was just telling people to click on the 4th tab, which is the briefcase, open the character options, and now we're kind of going to go in and people will decide what their classes and skills are. To put them onto the character sheet, you want to click on the classes/skills tab, and then you would just click and drag those options over one at a time. And then if you're going to have more than one level in a class, you would need to click on the edit option and increase the level in that. Every time you take a class, it gives you a small benefit. Typically, like it's a +5 HP, a +5 MP, sometimes a bonus to IP, which is your inventory points, and sometimes it gives you access to rituals and things like that. In that 4th tab, you got your character options, you got your class, and your skills. This might take a little bit of coming back and forth, group think, to try and think about it, because you have your character's theme and identity already. So the skills and the class should help fulfill that concept. Some of you already came here knowing what classes and skills you wanted to. And so if you know what you want, go ahead and fill that out. For other people, why don't we get some shout outs?
I'm trying to get down to the classes so that I can see which classes give what in the book. Do you know what page it will be in the book off the top by chance?
Not off the top, but I have the table of contents.
Character
Okay.
creations
I think it's
154. Well,
That's group
That's part-
creation. Character creation's a little below that. That's good.
154.
The classic characters are 172, and then the actual classes start at 176, the Arcanist.
Just trying to see whether I should choose Scoundrel or Ranger for my character.
I mean, Rogue or Ranger.
Rogue or Ranger, sorry.
Or Rogue or Sharpshooter is really what it is.
Rogue or... Is that what it is? Rogue or Sharpshooter, yes, you are correct.
At least that part. I don't know the page numbers, but I know the class names.
So, like I said, I'm doing Elemental Archer, so I went with Elementalist, and I went with Sharpshooter. I think it's 5 levels, right? GM?
Yes, that's a great question. Let me expand on that. Yes, at level 1, at character creation, everybody gets 5 levels. They need to spread between at least 2 classes and up to 3 classes. Fabula Ultima forces you to multi-class.
Yeah. That...
It's my opinion that they should have called them jobs instead, but that may be Final Fantasy Tactics coming up.
I'm with you on that.
Hmm.
I'll kind of leave my last class to party discussion. Honestly, I don't know what I want the last one to be, and I could see several of them fitting.
I'm taking Sharpshooter and Rogue because that's pistols and cheap shots and all sorts of lovely stuff.
Absolutely. Jesse, can you see the 2 sheets, the 2 classes I put on the stream?
Sorry, I was looking at the classes in the Foundry thing. Let me go.
Oh yeah,
look at that.
if you're seeing them again, like this might be easier if you look at the stream and try to make it very easy for you to look. I have them scrolled down to look at the skills you have available.
I still do not see any stream. It just shows nothing.
That's weird.
How do I change my levels, or do you want me to hold off on that for right now?
Hold off. No, we'll drag the skills over first, and then we can edit the levels.
Okay. Do I need to drag over just all the skills that are on the list?
You would drag over just the skills you're taking. If you're going to take a skill more than once, that's when you would click on the kind of like a pen and notepad to the right of it, and under the attributes for it, you can change the level you have.
And do I need to go ahead and is there a limit to these? I know you said 5 points.
You basically have 5 points. You can have up to 4 in one class, which will give you up to 4. The limit is in the description I have for the skills. Many of them you can only take once. I have no plus next to those ones. Other ones, there should be a plus, and then however much you can take that skill.
Okay, so I can, and the order doesn't matter. Like with Sharpshooter, Barrage, Crossfire, Hawkeye. If I wanted Ranged Weapon Master, I could take that.
Absolutely, the order does not matter.
Sweet.
So when you drag the classes or the skills over, does it automatically change anything? Like the hit points?
Yes, it does give you the class-based benefits, which would be the proficiencies, if your character has access to certain rituals or inventory points. Yes, that part is automatic.
For mine, because I'm taking 4 points in gadgets, but I need the gadgets to be alchemy. Is there something else I need to do?
There is a little extra we need to do for that, and I'm going to have to pull that after we get everybody through the skills, because it's a little bit more complicated for the Tinkerer.
Okay.
Okay, I think I know my solid class I'm taking.
What you thinking?
I want Wayfarer for sure for 3 points of levels.
Yep.
And for my other class, I would like to do Spiritist for 2 levels.
You got it. Do you know what skills you want?
I want healing power from the Spiritist. I think I want some support magic, if possible.
So you want some spirit spells, spiritual magic.
Yeah. Yeah. But a major thing I want, for sure I want priority over, is the Faithful Companion from the Wayfarer.
I pretty much made the same character I was making.
That's interesting. Is that okay with everybody?
I mean the 3 levels part, the Wayfarer part.
Oh, you're going to get 3 parts of Faithful Companion?
Oh no, I have 1 level of Faithful Companion. But I mean, is that what he's taking through a 3 level of Faithful Companion?
That's what it sounded like. Was there anything else you wanted, Jesse?
No, that's pretty much it. I want a Faithful Companion for 3 levels.
And so for those of you who are just chiming in, once you get your skill over, you click on that little pen and notepad, click on the attributes in the skill, and then you can change the level of that.
And that's one thing. How many, I know it's 5 levels for the class, but does that apply to the skills? Like how many for the skills?
Every level in a class gives you essentially 1 skill point. So that at character creation, you can have no more than 4 levels in any skill. Does that track?
Okay. So basically, you still get that 5. You just have to divide it among your 2 or 3 classes. Correct?
Correct.
Tell me this. Am I doing this properly on my...
Oh, look at your sheet.
Oh, that's not right.
You're on the right track. I see you got Sharpshooter and Rogue, and I see you have 4 skills in there.
I'm trying to change Ranged Weapon Mastery to a level 2. Where do I go to make it level 2?
On the right, under where it says add, there's that little pencil mark.
Yeah. I clicked that, I just don't see the number to change.
And then under attributes.
Under attributes. I am smirt, I swear. There's no save button, so if I click close, it saves automatically.
It saves automatically. And now that we know what your class distribution is by the skills you have, then you should go to your classes and retroactively change the levels you have in those. So you've got Sharpshooter 3, Rogue 2.
And it's the same thing, attributes.
Correct.
3 and 2, okay.
If you guys have a character name already, you want to scroll up to the top and make sure you put it in there. We have Reiner Stagscent on the stream.
Reiner Stags. Instead of the name, like on mine it says Cynical right now. I should change it to something else.
You should replace that with something else, yes.
And GM, I have another question.
Shoot.
So for spells, do we pick individual spells now, or is that just
I was going to say that is the next step. If everybody has any of the blank magic skills, that gives you access to spells. It depends on what your class is. Most classes give you access to 1 spell per skill level. Some classes give you 2. So like we kind of want to address it within the skill rank.
Okay, so I'm elementalist, so I would have to pick each based on how that goes. Got it.
Yes, and then in the same items directory for the character options, you click on spell, open elementalist spells, and then drag those spells over. You might want to click on the spells tab. Jesse, do you know what spell you want from your spiritual magic? Just for now, if you want to take my recommendation.
Sure.
I think
I'll
it's a
take your
surprise.
recommendation.
I suggest the heal spell.
Alrighty, I'll take that one because you know what you're doing.
All right. So
I want to look at the
excuse me,
spells.
The spells are another character option. There's a folder in there for spell, and there's a subfolder for the different classes.
Alright.
Paul, what were you saying?
So all I was going to ask is, I have elemental weapon, obviously, that's needed, but I have two levels in elementalists, so I would need to pick 2 spells, and I don't know what my second.
It's
one
not
is.
the levels in Elementos that we need to take 2 spells. It would be the 2 levels in Elemental Magic that would give you 2 spells.
Ah, I see. So, okay, how about this question? What's the difference between... Maybe I should answer myself by reading this. That would help. Okay, but what would you say mechanically, besides just giving it an element, is the difference between Spellblade and Elemental Weapon? I think it's just giving it an element. That's it, from what I am understanding.
That's partially. It also allows you to use a different formula for the magic check. Spellblade lets you use the 2 attributes that work for that weapon instead of inspiration and willpower. Sorry, insight and willpower, which is what elementalists use for their spell casting. Did that make sense?
Oh. Yeah, so basically you could give it an element and you change it to dex and might instead of insight and willpower.
If you were using a bronze sword, yes.
Well, that's just an example, but it don't have to be a...
If you were using a short bow, which is probably what your character might want to use, the short bow uses dex plus dex, and then you would use dex plus dex if you were using the spell blade or spell bow option for that.
Oh, okay, so it'd be dex plus dex.
Yeah, it depends on whatever the chosen weapon is.
Well, yeah, using the bow, like you said. Okay. Sorry to take up all...
No, that was not even a minute. Yeah, Spellblade allows your character to become a little bit more single attribute dependent, because you can drop insight and willpower a little bit and just really lean into those weapon skills instead.
Got it. Do you have a recommendation? Which one you think would be better, knowing the concept that I have?
I think you had elemental weapon. Because you're using a bow, you don't need to take soaring weapon, but I would take 2 different elements for your magic is probably what I would do.
So take 1 level of Spellblade and then 2 in elemental magic, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I will take your advice on that.
I want to read more into the magic system of this world, personally.
There are 2 magic systems. There's spells, which are like the very formalized magic that your character needs to spend a trait to learn. There's the other type, which is ritual magic. If your character either spends a certain skill or takes a level in a certain class, then you can do ritual magic, which we can get into in a little bit.
In the spell tab, I'm since my character isn't going to be a magic user, in the other abilities tab, are these just like innate to our characters?
They look like it.
Right.
Yeah, those are a bunch of like the suggested default and common actions your characters might do, I already put in the attributes for those. Those are kind of recommendations. This game is pretty fluid in it. So for ease, I just put them in so you guys kind of an idea like the kind of common actions your character might do. If you want to click on them to kind of get an idea of what your character would use for them, or you can also hit the edit on there to see what attributes you be. Go ahead and roll it. We're just like playing around right now.
Sorry. I did not mean to. Oh.
No problem at all. See, like you can see right in there, it tells you your accuracy, your dex plus your dex, the 2 dice, plus whatever modifier.
Whoever was doing it, I did it on accident.
How are you guys rolling dice?
Click the icon.
Yeah, you click on the image for that other ability.
There you go. Damn.
Damn, this is fancy as hell, man.
Yeah, this feels like a lot of work.
Thanks for appreciating that. Yeah, there's a lot of love put into this.
There is, definitely. Damn.
Where I tried rolling. How did you guys do that? I clicked the image.
So you click on elemental magic. You need to click on an actual spell to roll.
Under the spells
I
tab.
haven't added that yet.
And you can take your time adding that. We still have some more other softer things to put in.
Oh.
So we have most of your character built. We're onto equipment now.
Yeah. So this is the part where I feel like we may need to talk about the world a little bit. I was thinking about giving my character a pistol and a rapier, if there's one in here.
They're both pistols. I'm not sure there's a rapier. There might be a rapier. There is, yeah. Every character starts with 500 zenith. That's the default currency in Fabula Ultima. We can change the name of it. If you don't mind, it's spelled zenith. I prefer to call it zenny.
You got that Dragon Ball reference or something?
It's just easier to say.
That actually is a reference. You're all good.
It is a reference, but I'm going to stand by what I said. And so
You're just getting zany with your Zenny reference.
So you guys have 500 zenny in your budget, and I suggest you spend it on 1 armor, 1 weapon, and then you might want to buy a shield. Nobody can afford an accessory at this point. The accessories all cost like 500 or more gold, which means your character would come in with no weapon or armor.
No doll hairs.
Can I click on the items to see how much they cost?
I think I put the costs in, yes.
Oh, because I was going to say, I'm looking at the armors and I'm not seeing the costs.
You gotta
Under
go to
attributes.
the tab. Yeah.
Oh, attribute.
And I want to go check the stuff for one of the classes I took, because it may behoove me to not wear armor.
And with equipment, it's important for me to mention that different classes give you access to martial weapons or armor. Some classes give you proficiency in martial weapons. Some give you proficiency in martial melee weapons or ranged weapons. Others give you proficiency in martial armor. Others, martial shields. So we kind of need to keep track of that. If you click on your classes edit tab, you should see it in there. It's not super intuitive, but you can see that it'll be checked off for weapon, armor, shield, all those things.
And will these tell us if they're
In the attribute section, it'll be checked off if it's martial or not.
Oh dang. I think the rapier is martial. Oh no. Katana?
Question for you, Eli.
Go ahead.
I'm looking at the runic plate and the I'm a little confused on the quality. If it's got anything different to it.
Well, the quality is no quality. The defense is any of them, if they have a defense or a magical defense that's more than like 3 or so, that's what's supposed to set your defense to.
I see.
Some other ones have a nit or an initiative penalty. Like you're wearing heavy armor, your character's going to be responding a little bit slower in combat. We haven't gotten to initiative, but I assure you that it's not that big of a deal if you have a very big initiative penalty, because initiative is a group roll. You just decide whoever's the fastest in your group is going to roll their initiative, and then everybody else is rolling to support them. And that only decides whether your party goes first or the enemy party goes first. And then you take turns. So one of you would go first, or one of them would go first, and then the other group goes, and back and forth until everybody goes once.
Alright, I guess I'll take the runic plate for 250 then.
So it says the bronze shield costs 0. Is that correct?
That's probably not correct. I did a lot of data entry. I'm sure I made a mistake.
Oh, damn it.
So if no armor is already on the character sheet, do we delete that one when we pick an armor?
You don't need to delete it. It would be better if you just made sure to equip the other armor, or equip whether they are wearing no armor.
Yeah. Okay.
Just in time.
Thank
So,
you.
You
question.
said how much we have?
500.
Okay, just double check.
Question from Sin?
Fine, sorry.
You're good. I was gonna buy myself a dagger and a gun, but the gun is gonna take most of my. Gun's gonna take like half my money. Should I just buy a gun and some kind of armor?
You should probably just buy a gun, yeah.
Okay.
If you wanted to like do like narrative things, your character like wanted to like use a small knife to like cut up in ropes and stuff like that, if it makes sense for your character's theme, no problem.
Yeah, just like a small little, not like a knife that you could use it for fighting, but just like a little tiny knife. You just scrapes
Exactly.
to cut ropes. Let me check.
So my alchemist character, she's got 4 levels of alchemy, and then 1 level of rogue for some dodging abilities. But should she have a weapon, like a real weapon?
You probably will want to have some type of real weapon, yes.
Okay.
Alright, fix the bronze shield. That should be 100.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is.
I cannot equip. Huh.
I think I'll take a staff for 100.
Oliver Quatero should be able to equip the pistol because you have a sharpshooter. You're proficient with martial ranged weapons.
Yeah, because he's not really a sharpshooter, but that gives the most. I wouldn't say sharpshooter is the technical term. In the book, it says gunslinger's another option, and I feel like he's more of a gunslinger.
Yeah, just like the sharpshooter is the default name for it, and they have a bunch of
Yeah.
other suggested names too.
Trying to think what I should take. I think I'm just gonna take the travel garb for my armor. Sorry, I'm typing down the money. Wait. Oh.
So which weapons are not melee weapons or require that martial trait?
I would need to pull up the lists, and I can go through it if you want.
Well, I'm clicking on a few of them. So a lot of them say like two-handed with melee with no quality as the description. So I need ones that don't say martial.
I'm just going to go through them and tell you what they are. There's the staff, the tome, crossbow, short bow, iron knuckle, steel dagger, chain whip, iron hammer, and shuriken that do not require martial proficiency.
Pistol doesn't either.
Pistol should. I'll fix it in my side.
Cool.
So I could carry some shurikens.
You could have them shuriken. I appreciate you all helping me troubleshoot this thing because I definitely want to make sure I have the martial tags appropriate before I upload it for free to everybody to enjoy.
Oh, you're all good. Happy to help. Do I need to spend?
So go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, do I need to spend all of my Zenith? Or is it okay if I keep some?
You don't need to, and you should keep some.
I think I'm gonna have 50 left over after this bronze shield.
Reiner has 150 left.
Oh.
Well, I got 50 left, so you're not going to be the only one in the poorhouse.
I mean, I'll work from my bed.
Question, Eli, how many spells are we allowed to have?
spells equal to the whatever magic skill you have. So the cap, because this is a long-term thing, you can only have 10 levels in each class. So in theory, if you capped out just getting that type of magic for each class, you could have 10 spells per class.
So right now in Spiritist, how I am a level 2, I would have only 2 Spiritist spells.
You would have one Spiritist spell because you only have one rank in the spiritual magic skill. The other one was the healing skill.
Yeah, I see. I was just reading these spells I was able to take.
So we're doing the 2d6 times 10 for initial savings.
I thought it would be easier to just whatever people have in whatever's remaining, and then afterwards we would do the 2d6 plus 10 times 10.
That's fine, because right now I have 0.
Yeah, so it would be like spend as much as you want, and then plus an additional that your character can't spend right now.
Because I bought the extra steel dagger.
Sweet.
So you could buy nothing and have 500 Zen.
Well, I have 250 left.
Dang, nice.
And so here's where I'm going to. What's your question?
Do you recommend taking a, melee weapon? I mean, being my character is a bow person, or
there's no penalty for using a ranged weapon in melee.
So then I don't need one.
You do not need one whatsoever, unless you feel like your character is gonna want to have an axe for chopping wood or something like that. But yeah, you genuinely do not need a ranged weapon, a melee weapon, if you're a ranged character.
I have a question while we're still on equipment.
What's up?
Bronze shield, defense 0, M defense 0, initiative 0.
Let me just pull that up.
Yeah.
It should be a +2 to defense.
+2 to physical defense or M defense?
Just physical defense.
Just physical.
Sweet.
Runic does both.
If I had a plus sign, will that fix it on my sheet?
If you want to click on the little edit thing, go to the attributes, and just put, you don't need a plus sign, just put 2 in.
Just put 2? Okay, cool.
Now, are both of the shields, they require martial?
Only the runic shield requires martial.
No, the bronze one says it does, I think.
Yeah, they were both had the check mark for martial on them.
That's a mistake on my part. By the book, only the runic shield needs it. I just fixed it.
Is it worth taking a shield?
Did you take a weapon yet?
I picked shurikens, and of course I'll have my
You can definitely have some weapons are two-handed, so that's where we have to weigh it. Shurikens are not a two-handed weapon.
One-handed, yeah. Okay. Well, I assumed I would kind of need a hand free to be able to do my abilities.
But that could be the same hand you have for the shurikens. Like you probably have them on a bandolier or something with your potions.
Okay.
There's no quick draw skills or anything in this game. It's we just kind of assume that everything's convenient.
We rolling.
They hating.
Alright, I'm looking at Astra Catalyst. Like it says, when you first choose a skill, you can choose a gadget type. But if you have 4 levels in gadget, that means you get to level 3 in alchemy, and you can choose 1 more of infusions or magitech, because each of those gadgets only have 3 levels each.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and reread that part. From my understanding, let me get back to my photo of that page.
And then I put the basic, advanced, and superior alchemy into your inventory section at the bottom of your consumables.
So my understanding was by taking that many in alchemy, when I want to use alchemy, I can pick to either spend 3 or 4 inventory cost, and then that would let me roll either 2d20s or 3d20s. And then you roll on the random list. But I can always pick to either heal someone or poison someone.
Long story short, yes, that is how it works. And the higher your alchemy is, the more dice you get to roll.
Yeah. So what was the other thing about? I'm going all alchemy.
You
No,
chose 4 ranking gadgets, which means you're already capped out in alchemy, and you have 1 other gadget to choose. You could take it down to 3 if you didn't want to be other stuff.
Oh, okay. So it takes me from basic to advanced to superior, and there's 1 left. I guess I can go back and take it in rogue and increase my dodge ability.
Yes, you
Be a
absolutely
little
can.
bit more defensive. So that's what I'll do.
Alright, cool. I'm gonna solve that. And I have a random roll table for the alchemy, which I look
Okay.
forward to using. I'm gonna go ahead and give you access to these.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see him in there.
You said we haven't done. Let me go to my character sheet. You said we haven't done origin yet, right?
Right.
Okay, good. Making sure I'm not falling behind.
No, you're right. I figured we'd make the world a little bit, and then we'd choose the origin. Everybody would make 1 bond, and then we would get to the prologue. Have a little break, get to the prologue.
Okay.
All right, and so just for links, if you look at the 5th tab, which is the one after the book, before the cards, you should be able to drag the alchemy effect and the alchemy target to your quick bar on the bottom.
Target. Okay.
Why don't we give that a trial run? Go ahead and activate each of them. You see that? Like under the effect, it says you can always choose 20 damage or recover 30 HP. And then for your target, it says you and every ally on the scene, if you wanted to, could suffer dazed, shaken, slow, and weak, or recover 30 hit points.
Mm-hmm. So now, basic, I get to roll 2. So does that mean I need to roll 1 each, a target and an effect?
Yeah, you would need to use the roll table more than once if you were doing...
Okay, so I pretty much always need to roll a target, but then I could, like, if I'm using 4 inventory points to roll 3 dice, I could roll 2 of the effects and 1 of the target and then mix and match from there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you for reading beforehand.
Oh, I totally picked alchemy because it was just like completely random. Like you roll and it's like, oh, you got a couple choices now.
It's a fun, nice RNG thing.
It does. It sounds hilarious.
Does anybody have any additional character art they want to put into Discord so we can update your tokens?
I don't have any yet, but I will. I will DM you with some character art. I haven't
That's
made
fine.
it yet.
Before the January session.
Yeah.
I'll make that tonight
Yes,
or tomorrow.
Same with me. I'll have to get something figured out there.
Yeah, you got plenty of time. All right, so we guys have your character, concept, theme. You have your names, you have your classes, skills, and equipment. Let's go into the world.
Yeah.
All Fabula Ultima worlds have something known as the 8 pillars in common. You are in a world of ancient ruins with harsh lands. The world is in peril. You have clashing communities. Everything has a soul, and that soul gets returned to the River of Souls after expiration of the body. It's a mixture of magic and technology. The heroes come in many sizes and shapes. The story is all about the heroes, and the campaign is about mystery, discovery, and growth. Those are the 8 pillars that we try to tie in every time. As far as locations for start playing, there's really just 2 major locations. There's the kingdom at heart. Whoever, I guess, links is the heir to this kingdom. By default, it's Denova. We could change the name, but we also get to decide what kind of technology they have, what kind of historical threats they have, what kind of mysteries and threats in the world.
I feel like that Denova should probably have a good reason to justify a royal guard. 2 of us have picked former royal guard as I'm former. Are you? Is the other royal guard character still a royal guard, or?
I think because we have communities in conflict, there's a very good reason, at base, to have a royal guard.
Yeah. But I'm just saying
So my character, as of now, is a royal guard, and the way I envision the character is kind of not just a guard, but the trainer, you know, the trainer of sorts. So a respected trainer guardsman.
So you're not just like a royal guard, you're like a training sergeant almost?
Yeah, like I picked lore master. For I end up going with elementalist, and then I took 2 levels in lore master. So I'm framing the lore master as the training background, not just book smart, but tactics, battle knowledge. That's where I went with.
Okay, that's cool. So they've obviously got some people in this military that are used to, they're trained with nations in conflict. The first question I think we may want to ask then is the kingdom itself, like working name Denova, is Denova more of a noble bright civilization, or does it have a dark history?
What do the players feel like? What would you like to be coming from? Because everyone's going to come from this kingdom either as their origin, or that's where they're coming from at this moment. Nobody needs to come from there as the origin, except for Lynx. Other people can be travelers who happen to be here at the heat of this event.
Anyone have any thoughts?
I was looking at some of the ideas in the book. I was kind of liking the idea that in the past the world was almost destroyed. And that it's kind of an ancient evil that might not be top of mind, but is there somewhere.
So, sort of a calamity. How many of us here play Final Fantasy 14?
I didn't do 14. I kind of stopped at 10.
Okay.
I'm playing.
Yeah, I stopped at 10 as well.
But for those of us who are playing Final Fantasy 14, it's like a Zodiac kind of situation where there's this big bad, not in the central view, but you hear about him every once in a while. Or something related, at least.
I don't even know the big bad's necessarily around anymore, but kind of like the boogeyman, it's whispered about to scare children.
Around in the sense that it's relevant to certain groups of interest, perhaps.
Yes.
I like the idea that the kingdom is kind of like the founding of the kingdom was like a new age where like beforehand it was like just chaos and monsters everywhere, and like one of these kingdoms is like linchpin that we like built civilization on, and maybe someone's got an interest in getting rid of that, perhaps.
Maybe like another power's trying to take over and uproot this linchpin kingdom, perhaps.
Yeah, like I love a good evil god. Like, they have their turn.
So maybe the evil god was like banished, and that was like the start of rebuilding the civilization.
Yeah, there you go.
So, I have a thought in regards to this. I'm partially being biased because of my character, so feel free to throw this out. Being upfront about it, but being my mindset was on the military aspect of it, I'm thinking whatever you guys go with, banished, etc. That was their drive for, hey, let's come together and put a strong military together, having that nature of the fortification both in the military, and I see it as maybe a kingdom that has great walls and fortifications, etc. Like a big thing is protection from the evil that they once occurred.
Sort of like a Great Wall of China situation where they had this proud military history, but then sort of it fell out of use because you no longer need a big military, perhaps.
I was thinking more along the lines of they had whatever drama, whatever occurred, whatever was the evil, and then they barely survived, they barely made it through, and then they're rebuilding. So it's not so much of it in need or not need, it's more of we're doing this for preparing because we don't want that to happen a second time. That was my thoughts.
Okay.
So here's a question, because I've heard like the same kind of ideas, different angles. So if there's some kind of cataclysm and then we're in like a rebuilding phase. Like, how far in time chronologically do we want to separate that? Like,
Great question.
Well, going on Noble's idea, it doesn't have to be that far in the past.
that's kind of what I was seeing is, we just having like order barely reestablished and kind of, teetering on an edge, easy to sow like seeds of doubt and chaos back in.
I was initially thinking 1,000 years, but maybe 100.
Yeah.
That'd be like 3 generations.
Quick
so
question to everybody, including to the GM. Can you guys give me a quick survey of the character that you're thinking? Because here's why I'm asking the question. We have a heir to the throne, the potential heir to the throne, right? We have an ex-guardsman. We have my guardsman. I'm thinking based on what you just said, Lynx, the whole Discord. Are we going to be dealing a lot with civilians, or we're not going to be dealing a lot with civilians? Like, that, to me, is a big factor of where we would want to put it chronological. That's just
All right, so before we go round robin, Mike and Noble, do you have character names?
Oh, yes, I should pick a name. that might help.
Oh,
I
Lord,
never thought. I'm horrible at naming things.
Oh Lord, I got a
Man
BRB
with no
again.
name. I'm kidding, I have a name.
What do you think? If you don't need to put anything, like if you put something besides what we have as your default name for this session, and then we can fix it before next session, that's no problem. If you want to put like a title right now, could be cool.
No, I'll pick something.
All right, so
I could change
Mike
it
has
if I don't
chosen the
like it,
Wanderer.
Yeah, that is a placeholder.
Do you know how to update the Foundry little players box to say your new character name?
It should do it automatically. Like it says Astra for you right now.
Well, yeah, I did that when I first logged in. Before I actually picked the character, or when I first started.
Yeah, I didn't, but it filled it in when I changed the
yeah.
character name.
Yeah,
You have a space in there, so your name is just the.
it's just the.
Mhm.
Well, I stand by it.
Sorry about that. Had to run to the bathroom again.
Welcome back. Yeah, we'll all have a bio break before we get to the rolling.
You're good. I just drank a lot of water today, so that's my fault.
Good for you.
Not good for me. I drank 10 bottles.
Hail hydrate.
Ale hydrate.
You and me both, brother.
I have a case
I
that was.
definitely need, glad you said that. I need to go grab me more water.
I have a case of water that's sitting on its side near me, and I just grab a bottle whenever I need one.
Well, with that, it looks like people are saying like we want to go through round robin. We have Karis, the Wanderer, Reinhardt, Astra, Body, and Oliver. Those are people's names, character names.
Yeah, all
Oh,
of
it has a space. Well, so it's supposed to be just guard, bodyguard, but I'll just put guard.
Oh yeah, no.
Holder.
If you put a space, it only does the first word.
I just changed it to guard.
The is my literal first name.
I met a Mister once.
I did meet a junior for a while.
But have y'all ever met a Bubba?
Not
Actually,
an actual
yes.
Baba.
It's a nickname Bubba's, but not
No,
actual Bubba's.
that was his whole ass legal name.
Damn.
That's cool.
Went to high school with him. It was cool.
All right, so to answer Noble's question, how do people feel about, like, do you feel like you're going to be doing a lot of, like, interacting with the civilization? As far as start playing goes, there's not a lot of civilization interaction. You guys start on an airship add to the first destination, which the prologue is going to get you there.
Yeah, I feel like this could be a good opportunity to have us acting with more civilians. I feel like that wouldn't be so much of a problem. Also, if I may introduce a new idea real quick. What if the war, this great enemy that they were fighting, wasn't like an evil god or something like that, but a civil war?
Maybe it was like the twin brother of the king or something.
Yeah, like a long lost family member, and that's sort of what the war was about, was a war of succession. So
I suppose it determines how.
Personally,
Oh no,
go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say. I suppose the question for me would boil down to how destroyed do we want the world? Because, like, I feel like a war with a more like, supernatural opponent would probably leave the world more in tatters, because they don't value like the structure of the world the way we do. Or a civil war will be, less apocalyptic, presumably, at the very least.
Yeah, I was thinking near apocalyptic originally, but it doesn't have to be.
I'm alright if it is. I'm just presenting an idea.
Yep.
Also, I feel like this airship, if it's going to have an heir to the throne, is the mission that they're going on known about? Is it like well known that this is what's going on?
Or start playing, it's that actually the heir is sneaking away to achieve this mission.
So, yeah, I think we should be interacting personally with more civilians, because the heir is sneaking away and not like announcing it. Because if you're announcing you're leaving as an heir, and I think anyone here who's seen like royal visits from like the British royals would know, they have an entourage of bodyguards. So the fact that they're sneaking away, they're probably dealing with more civilians.
I think that's funny because my theme is curiosity killed the cat.
And since you're sneaking away, you probably know that I'm your half brother.
Oh, okay.
You went along to like.
So here's a thought.
Anything.
Mm-hmm.
Let's kind of, me putting on my GM hat here, kind of compromise and do both. So, Civil War, right? There's another family that, caused that Civil War. And the reason why we have the hair, and I don't know if you're legitimately being the half brother or not, but if you are, either way, that's the whole reason why we're sneaking the character out, is because, we don't want this character to die because we want this person to succeed to the throne. So we're trying to create the piece and put the piece back together. And then here's the compromise. The other group, the reason why is because they served a quote unquote evil deity. That was their whole thing. It was they're trying to take over the kingdom to put the kingdom for the evil deity. So kind of combining both ideas.
I like that. So the kingdom probably that was serving this evil being is known as Alonia. That's what it is in Start Playing. So that's why I like push that forward.
Sorry.
I don't know. What's your thoughts on that, everybody?
No, I'm on board. I think you got a cool idea going.
Yes.
I mean, that kind of, you'd have like this evil deity that would kind of whisper in the ears to like incite the whole Civil War to begin with.
Yes, as a ploy to possibly release it? Question mark.
Yeah,
yes.
Going back what Noble was saying, I do like the idea of a like enormous like city castle that is supposed to be sort of a plugged on like a prison of some kind to keep this thing, underground or something.
The walls aren't to keep you in, it's to keep this other thing in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool.
Maybe it's like banished to another plane or something, and something's trying to do a ritual to let it out.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Maybe they captured like one of the lead fill in the blank title, evil, cultist, summoner, arcanist, etc. And they didn't trap the evil because the evil hasn't been released, but they trapped the person who could create the portal that would have the most knowledge, and that's who's, like you said, not protecting the wall or not to stop people from going out. It's to protect the evil from getting unleashed.
Okay.
Just a thought.
It was a prison first and then a city later as they realized they needed one. Sort of situation, if I'm understanding.
Yeah,
Nice,
my
nice,
initial
nice.
thought
Yeah.
was it was so far in the past that they forgot that the prison was even there, but except for a few people.
I think we're saying this is it's about a century ago, which could still be long enough that most people forgot.
I like that. Personally.
Maybe the succession crisis is being spurred on by the current monarch knows about like what keeping this thing in prison entails, and like we need someone who could do that. Like all the traditional royalty stuff is cool, but this is priority one. But we can't tell anybody that.
Because if we told them, the cultists would show up, and that would be even worse.
Yeah.
So maybe our group is not they're quote unquote sneaking, but they're actually assigned, like they're the off the books team. That, hey, go get this hair out of here, right? Because for whatever reason, maybe there's a connection. They want the hair in order. Maybe that's part of the ritual. They need the blood of a royal, and they're like, get them off the books. Here's the team that's off the books. Go get them out of here. So we're sneaking, but we're not going against the kingdom.
Are you saying we are the quote unquote A team of this setting?
The
Yeah, we're the
That is
quote-unquote
canonical.
A team.
Hey, I brought this van for a reason, dude.
Yes. That's why they brought the former royal guard. That's why he's here.
They got him out of retirement for this job.
They ram.
There's
And he
some
said,
movie
"I
coming.
pity the fool who woke me out of my nap."
They Rambo'd me. How dare you?
Is your character older?
I'd imagine he's like 30s, 40s, depending on how young the military starts recruiting in this country.
Because it would be funny if he was like the old veteran and he's like, of course, play the character how you want. But I'm just saying the A-team reference would have been funny. Like, he's the retired old veteran. Leave me alone. I was forced into this.
Ton of cigars.
He's kind of cool. And
Yes.
I picture him being cool and calm, so yeah, possibly older. I wouldn't mind that.
All right, I'm going to put in what I have written down. If people approve of this.
Oh, usually when I make an A-team reference, the DM strikes my character dead there.
Now we have a lot more fun than that.
I pity the fool. Sorry. Where are we putting this, by the way?
I put that into the chat log. At the little chat bubbles, the tab to the furthest left of the top right.
Oh, you're putting it into the Foundry. Okay.
Yes, so people can see it like right there in the world.
Now, I have a question for everyone. Are we married to the name Devonia? And
Denova and
Denova and Alonia. Yeah, sorry about that.
I'm open to name changes.
Oh, I consider that a GM question.
Well,
I didn't work here, dog.
The way world building works in Fabula Ultima, at least from what I've read in the rulebook, is that we make this game as a group. So, if anyone has any suggestions, I would love to hear them.
I'll be honest, I use like random tables to make up names or chat GTP.
I
Like,
do
give me
have a
the
roll
decision.
table. If people want me to roll for the names,
Let's see what it rolls and see what we get.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
I'm good with that.
Wow, I rolled Tauren twice, which actually makes perfect sense for a civil war.
Tauren and
So Tauren and New Tauren or something like that. Or
Tauren
Tauren and Old Tauren.
So are you guys old Tauren or new Tauren?
We don't know, really.
I don't know, but they sure had beef with each other.
You'd be left Tauren and right Tauren.
Yeah, we could be West Tauren or
Those
something
right
like that.
Taurens, man.
Oh
You
yeah,
can't-
east
that's
and
what I
west,
say.
north and south.
So is De Novo West?
Oh, let's flip the. This is just funny to me. Let's flip the comment. You know how it's normally east and west, north and south. Why is one east and one is north, but they're
Well,
or it's west and south?
I
Well,
like
the one
could-
is just
we could-
Tauren and the other one's with one of the
We
directions.
could take a page from like Cyberpunk and be like upper and lower, like live in the clouds versus live down at the ground.
Ooh,
I love all this creativity
Yeah.
going around. I really appreciate this.
the upper and lower suggestion.
But that
I was
also
gonna say,
opens
I
up
like
a
the
can of
upper and
worms.
lower.
Are we on the
That's-
bad side or the good side?
I think we're upper and lower implies the economical difference. I feel like between the two
And
groups.
Potential,
I
like,
didn't mean that, but is
geography
our
as
faction the one that was trying to aid the evil? Or,
Would we know that?
well, we probably don't know that, but that's why I said it opens up another can of worms.
Mm.
Because we could secretly be on the wrong side.
See, that feels like something the DM would keep under their hat and just say, "You're
Oh,
on
yeah.
A side." But
Yeah, if you want anything you want me to lampshade or put behind the curtain, I got no problem with that.
So with that question, GM, what about personal character? And this not only to the GM, but based on his answer, would be to the rest of the party. What about personal information? Character, hidden information. How does that work?
We do that through like a DM thing from information that would thematically make sense to keep away from our party members.
The way it really works is it depends on your character's theme and origin. If your character maybe is a royal, we're in the heat of it, they probably picked up on some of the evil things. If your character is from outside, if you're a royal guard, you probably wouldn't know. You would have been censored as far as these darker or lighter aspects. But any character could make a study check to try and gather more information.
So do we decide now, or is that GM on which side we're on?
I'm into calling Donovan West Tauren and Alonia South Tauren.
Personally, I really like the upper lower thought of it. Not
Can we-
that everything has to be upper and lower, but go ahead.
Can we call Donovan West Tauren and Alonia Upper Tauren?
Ooh, they can't even agree on how they're labeling themselves position-wise.
yeah,
I think that makes it interesting that maybe we call theirs North Tauren, but they call it Upper Tauren or whatever.
yeah.
Or vice versa.
Yeah, maybe they call you Lower Tauren and you call
Yeah.
them East or North or whatever it is.
That's good.
I like this additional ambiguity in it.
How about this? Some of them call themselves what would be a Tornadians or loud
Tornese.
whatever. A Tornese, and he's like,
Yeah.
"We're the real Tornese, and you guys are the lower Torn. You're the West Tornese, or something else." And they can't even agree who's the authentic one, and they keep referring to each other as different things.
Hence why we continue to be two separate nations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just for playing purposes, though, we would have to establish that all ahead of time, because having two groups with very similar names could grow to be a bit confusing.
If this was going to be an extended campaign, it
that
would be
is
a
true.
bigger issue. But I think for this one shot, which I'm not going to say has no chance of continuing, but for the purposes of this, I think we can be satisfied with what we have so far.
Yeah, if it goes beyond the one shot, we could rework some things. I think.
So what did we decide on? West and upper, or what are we going with, group?
West and upper. Yeah. The one group uses west and east, the other uses upper and lower. So it tells you who's from where, probably.
And you guys use west.
We use west, yeah.
Alright, so the last thing for your character sheets is your origin. If your characters are from one of these Taurens, you should put that in your origin. Are you from West Tauren, the royal part of Tauren, the Tauren kingdom? I already put it for Astra, because with your character's identity, we already know your character's part of the West Tauren elite. Other option is people can be from other towns outside of Tauren if you wanted to invent a new location.
I'd say like the border. I'd say like having a border city or like a frontier styles town would be good.
Would you like me to roll the dice for a new location name?
Yes,
A
please.
suburb?
A suburb. I'm thinking more like the Old West, like
Yeah,
border
like in
towns.
between.
So Cilia.
Oh yes.
Sounds like it's a frontier town.
Yeah. That's my idea for it. Someone else said like a suburb.
Well, so are we all imagining like one big kind of fortified armored city that's kind of divided in half? Not necessarily literally, but two groups of people kind of thing with kind of a tenuous stability piece currently achieved.
Was it like a city-state, or was it a whole country?
Yeah,
I was
see.
thinking that West Tauren was in the entire like continent of Tauren,
Okay.
and then they
Okay.
formed the wall that became West Tauren, and everything outside of it, like they separated themselves. Like your kingdom, Astra, separated themselves in West Tauren continent, and that became the West Tauren. And then Alonia, whether they're north or south or east of you, they can't be west of you, of course, but they have decided that they're Upper Tauren in contrast to you.
Okay. So it's not necessarily within one city, it's within one kingdom or geographic area.
Yeah, that's what this has naturally evolved to become.
Okay. Now, does the kingdom of West Tauren, does it have like a capital city name? Like as a location?
Probably West Tauren is the capital's name.
Okay. Okay.
If you want to like become more granular and you have a name in mind, I wouldn't mind that.
Well, I did use ChatGTP to give me two Tauren names. And it gave me Tauren Vale and Tauren Crest, which kind of made sense as something high and something low. But I don't know if that would make sense geographically with what, like, where the main city would be.
I'm gonna steal one of those Tauren Vale for where I'm from.
And I was going to say Tauren Crest sounds like it would be the more regal section of West Tauren.
Maybe alter it slightly for Torcrest.
What do you think? What do you think, Lynx? Tauren Crest or Tauren Crest?
I think Tauren Crest sounds better.
Okay.
But yeah, they both sound pretty cool.
Maybe one's a neighborhood.
Or yeah, like subsections of a city.
I'm just going to straight up call Torrenvale the slums.
Yep. That's where my mom's from.
Well, how
And
about
the king
this?
was slumming.
Tauren Crest is the regal area, like you said, and Torrenvale on the other kingdom, and that's their, quote unquote capital.
Because it is Astra's kingdom, I think I want to keep it like Tauren Crest and Torrenvale is the distinction within West Tauren. Do you
Within
want
the
to say
capital city.
yeah? Do you want to say that the bodyguard is from Upper Tauren and then came to West Tauren?
Which bodyguard?
Noble is playing the bodyguard. That's his character's name currently.
I'm playing a former bodyguard.
We shall call you former. We shall call me current.
You can just call my character Ollie. His name's Oliver. I gave that to you.
All is my Wednesday game.
Oh.
That was a joke just for me. Sorry.
To confirm, Torncrest is the regal area, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna put that he's from there. I'm gonna say that like he was born into this, and the only life he's known is being, part of the kingdom and being a soldier and etc.
All right. How about Reiner Stagsent? Jesse, where do you think that Reiner would be from?
Reiner seems like he is from a wealthier kind of thing, so I assume he'd be from like the newer versions of city.
So we'll say Torrencrest for Reiner as well.
Yeah.
The Wanderer?
I wanted to keep it a little ambiguous. I wanted to have him be a knight from from. Did we agree that Torrencrest was the more regal one?
Yes.
I was gonna have him be from Torrencrest.
Go ahead, put Torrencrest into your origin. And Chris said that Karas is from Torrenvale. How about for Oliver? Say his characters.
Should Origin just be the city, or are we going to go further into it? Do you think?
If you want to be not from the Tauren region, you can choose a new location. Like I rolled with Celia.
Yeah. But I mean, should I just put the city where I'm from, or is there other things that go into it?
You can just put the city that you're from. If you want to say you're from Celia, and we don't need to define Celia right now.
Okay. That's good. I didn't mean to interrupt this. Someone else. Sorry.
No, I was asking you.
Celia could be like a DMZ between the two kingdoms.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like a border town sort of area. So you have like I'm imagining the kingdoms are like on separate sides, and then there's an agreed upon stretch. But people already live there, so they just call it Celia. And I think it might be the kind of area where you see a lot of like criminal activity like smugglers. So a former royal guard could be going there, perhaps. Could be coming back there to perhaps. I don't actually know the premise of this because I kept myself basically spoiler free. Where's the airship going? Let's ask that question.
All right, so the airship is going towards a crater, but you don't know that yet.
Okay. Would it make sense to have the crater somewhere in like the Borderlands area, so neither group can say, "Oh, we control this thing"?
Absolutely.
Okay. Because that's absolutely what my character was doing. He heard, "Oh, you'll let me come on board this ship, and you're not gonna make me pay as much?" Okay. I have to walk a little? I did a lot of that. He didn't ask too many questions when he probably should have.
I think we'll tweak it a little bit in the prologue, but I like where you're coming from.
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead and put Celia into your origin. Everybody's character sheet is complete now, right?
I have bonds. Do we need to put bonds?
Yeah. We're going to do bonds in the heat of the moment.
Okay. Zenit needs to be 50, level 5. I don't have spells. I don't have effects. Everything else looks. Yeah. I think I'm good. Anyone else?
Yeah. I think I'm alright.
Do we need to do something with the leftover money?
No, you can just hold on to it, and we're gonna roll for extra money shortly. We're gonna do that right before your characters leave on the airship.
Yeah. Okay. We're just gonna mark it. We just need to mark it down for right now, I think. That way you can keep track.
We're almost to the actual prologue. I'm gonna hit break time.
Cool.
Oh, I did not know this thing had a... Oh.
Yes, this is a nice module.
Does this work with 5e? Because I may show this to my Saturday DM.
It is totally system agnostic.
This is good. I'll talk to you about this later. I'm gonna BRB.
So now is when I get into the beans and potatoes of Fabula Ultima. This game takes place in a series of consecutive scenes. Most of the scenes will just be your characters, but occasionally I might do a cutscene where I show a villain to you. Your characters aren't there, but you as players get to see something transpire, and that helps reveal some kind of drama to you. When you are interacting with the world, if there's some chance of success or failure, it's called a check. Checks are always going to be a combination of two attributes. It could be the same attribute twice. You roll the two, you add them together, and you compare that to a difficulty level. It's meet or beat. The default is 10 plus. If you are doing something that maybe isn't so difficult or that lines up with your character's traits, it might be 7, which is like the easy roll. If it's difficult or maybe something that your character isn't appropriate for, it might be 13, and then there's always plus or minus from there. If you meet it, you succeed. Congratulations. You did what you wanted to do. If you don't meet it, then your character fails. This typically means that your character doesn't get to try again. Your character will need to try a new approach. And if you describe it in an appropriate way, then you can use the same attributes. Otherwise, if you don't describe it in the exact same way with a different approach, then it would be different attributes, or someone else could try the same. If the two dice are matching and they're both 6 or higher, that's a critical success. Even if they don't meet the difficulty level, not only do you succeed, but you also get some additional benefit. This is typically called an opportunity. There's a bunch of opportunities listed in the core Fabula Ultima rulebook. I'm not going to expand on them right now, but it's typically something like you cause a status effect to an enemy, or you cause a positive effect to an ally. You ask a question, things like that. If your character fumbles, it means your character rolled 2 1s on the check, so that obviously you failed, and in addition to failing, some negative status effect occurs. The bonus to fumbling is you also get 2 extra Fabula points. I told you earlier, you can spend Fabula points to invoke your traits, which means you reroll the check if it's appropriate for those traits, or you add a bond strength to that check. Third option is that you change the story. You alter it in some way, as long as you're adding to it. That's invoking traits, invoking bonds. That's the basic check. There are also group checks. In group checks, you as a group decide somebody's the leader on that check. They're the person who determines what the check is. Their description decides what the attribute is. They make their roll, and that difficulty level is going to depend on whatever's appropriate. Everybody else makes a check using that same attribute pair, but the DL is always 10 for them. The assistants, if they succeed, add +1 to the leader's check, and only the leader's check really matters. So if the leader rolls poorly, but everybody else assists them, then that can bring them to that success marker. If any of the assistants have a critical check, that does not generate an opportunity. In group checks, only the leader's roll generates critical successes or failures. That's as far as teamwork goes. Occasionally, in Fabula Ultima, there can be clocks that are generated. These are used to record progress in certain checks. Like if your character wants to unlock a complicated door, we maybe open up a clock of, like, say, 4 sections. A success typically generates 1 clock section. A critical success generates 2, and then the opportunity might add an additional 2, or the opportunity might provide some other benefit. Initiative is a common group check. You typically want to decide who in your group has the highest initiative modifier, and then everybody rolls the group check to assist them. If your characters win the initiative check, you go first, and then an enemy goes, and we go back and forth. You are all player characters. You have Fabula points. Occasionally, I will introduce villains. Villains are my non-player characters. They're not extras, they're not minor characters. These are the wild cards of Fabula Ultima. Anytime I introduce a villain, each of you get an extra Fabula point. Villains have their own system called Ultima points. So they can also use to invoke their traits, invoke their bonds, or alter the story in some way, such as GM Fiat if I want to make them escape. Then finally, there's travel. Not going to really come up in this downtime or this one-shot kind of scenario, but in travel, there are some skills that modify it, but typically you compare how far you're traveling to the danger of the area. We have some roll tables, and I'm going to do them right now. Because right now your characters are in West Torin. So it's not a very dangerous place. So I'm going to put I'm going to put minimal danger. So you guys have a quiet journey through. Typically, if it's a 1 on the die, your characters get a discovery. You run upon some wandering merchant, some kind of dungeon that you didn't know that was there, maybe some random side effect, like maybe the Pip-Boy suddenly shows up. That's what a discovery would be. A danger is 6+. And so in a minimal, that's the lowest D6, because this game doesn't go into D4s. But in any area that'd be more dangerous than walking within the city, it's higher dice. The cap is D20 for a very high danger area. So 6+, your characters would come upon some antagonist, a roving monster, maybe a swampy area with toxic fumes, that kind of stuff. Everything makes sense so far.
And I have well traveled, so I could reduce that by 1 size.
Yes, you could. So there would be no chance of a D20, so long as your character is around.
I don't have any questions.
No questions
I don't-
about that, but I did change my character's name, and I don't see it updated on the player list.
I don't have any questions right now.
Now it is. Auron.
I had to manually update it. The way I did it is I've released the character and then I put the character back in.
We're gonna pronounce it Aaron, though.
Aaron. Okay.
Yes, that's a Final Fantasy reference.
I dig it.
I actually do have a quick question.
What's up?
So with hit points, mind points, and inventory points, how quickly do those come back? Like between scenes, between combats?
Good question. So, inventory points typically only come up when you come upon a merchant, and then it is 10 zenny per inventory point you want to purchase back. HP and MP only come through long rests, you might say. So if your character is in a safe location, they would rest, and they could recover their HP and MP completely. Otherwise, you would need to spend MP for elixirs and healing potions to recover. And then you need to find a merchant to recover your IP.
Okay.
It looks like Oliver put their art in.
No, not yet.
Oh, it's Noble.
I
Noble put their art
posted
in.
mine on Discord. Yep, and I posted the link. I just grabbed something from Pinterest. I hope that's okay.
Certainly okay for this
So-
session.
And I posted where I got it from, so attributed them in that sense.
I use the tokenizer module so I can make this in no time at all.
Does that look okay? I I imagine the gun is like a revolver. I can change that if necessary.
That's perfectly fine. That looks like a pistol, a handgun.
Okay. I was imagining it more with like a rectangular shield, but I never got that, so take what I can get.
Hey, Oliver is the ex-guardsman, or am I wrong on this?
Oliver is the ex-guardsman, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just throwing this out here because it's quite funny that we both have similar hats. I'm just saying that should be part of the uniform, since look at both of our characters.
Wait, what does your hat look like? Oh my
Mine is
god.
green, but it's still...
Could have been from like different parts of the Royal Guard, perhaps. Like mine's more of like a cowboy hat. So maybe I'm more of like the...
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking it signifies your weapon specialty.
Yeah.
You know, yours is firearms, mine's is bows, so the hat actually signifies what branch of weapon specialty you have.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. I like that. Yes, actually, if that's okay with the GM.
That's totally fine with me.
That's like the symbol of who we were. Or are, for one of us. I noticed the system does not account for bullets. Do I need to keep track of bullets?
You do not. If you have a fumble, I might say your character runs out of bullets, but otherwise you have plenty of bullets.
Okay.
Just updating this tokens real fast.
Because if he runs out of bullets, he's gonna flip that gun around and start beating people with it.
And we could treat it like a club.
Yeah. That's just the idea, at least.
I did want to confirm one thing about the story, though.
What's up?
I wanted to confirm, are we trying to get the potential heir out of... I'm not talking about spoiler, I'm talking about backstory-wise. Like, the whole thing is they're after the potential heir because that's part of their sinister plan? Is that what we went with, or is that GM fiat? I'm not sure.
That would be GM fiat.
But I know we threw that out there. Okay.
I think the official story is that we're going out. We're basically guarding this royal person while they investigate some sort of crater that just showed up.
That's kind of going to be what it is. And so I put your character tokens onto the canvas. Theoretically, Fabula Ultima is very well suited to do everything by theater of the mind. So this would be more than what you need. We could do everything right here, and if I ever needed to pull up like a monster or anything, I could just put it right next to you, right?
Yes.
Instead, I created some little animations and rooms, and so we're going to start in the throne room.
Okay.
Of course, this is because Astra doesn't have a character token yet.
So this is Astra right there, okay.
Astra walks into the throne room of her father, King Roland, as Angela, his court wizard, is telling him about the incursions of Upper Tauren, saying that they have been invading the nearby crater of Megalia, and it doesn't seem that they have any good intentions. They maybe are trying to scavenge some of the magitech there, and Angela insists this should be a good time for King Roland to invade, because their army is away from their border. That means that they are vulnerable. Does Astra say anything?
What would a preemptive strike actually do for us? Would it restart the Civil War?
Yes, but if we get the upper hand, then certainly it would be a short and decisive war. King Roland hasn't said anything yet.
Is there any guarantee that we actually could make it, a short, decisive strike?
Oh, little one, perhaps you should meet me in the temple and I can show you how powerful we could be. And then King Roland puts his hands up and says, Angela, you stepped too far. This is my only daughter. I insist you treat her with more respect. In addition, the people of Upper Torin are our kinsmen. Although they have been led astray, there is no cause to approach them with dishonor. I must send you away, Angela. And the wizard looks at the king despondently and then at Astra and says, in the temple, if you would.
So he sends Angela to the temple?
He says Angela away, and Angela asks you to meet her in the temple.
Okay.
What a coincidence, the gang's all here. Probably the rest of the people here are praying, they're lighting a candle for some of their lost ones. You can decide your own reason to be here in the temple at the moment. And so when you mouse over them, you should be able to see one another's tokens.
Yeah, see the names and stuff.
Here is where I want to build the bonds. Everybody is here for their own personal reason. The bond you create doesn't need to be to another player character. It can be to a concept, a place. So let's just go about now alphabetically in player characters. What is Astra Catalyst's bond? What is something that emotionally or morally connects them to their goal?
I think it's got to be the kingdom. Like, as the heir to the throne, she feels a responsibility to learn everything she can and be ready for when it's her turn to rule.
So is that the continent of Torin? Is it Torin Crest? Is it West Torin?
I would say it would be West Torin, but, with her father's leanings and teachings, it would be Torin as a, reunified Torin.
And so in that left column, you can type in the name of the bond, and the next 3 columns describe 3 different emotions. These emotions happen in pairs. There's admiration and inferiority, which means your character thinks that there's something to aspire to, or there's something that kind of scares you. Like maybe you could be like them, but they do it in a negative way. There's loyalty and mistrust. Again, those are 2 sides of the same coin. And affection and hatred. We'll choose 1 level right now. It looks like you choose admiration towards Torin.
So I only pick 1 of the 3?
Just 1 for now. In downtime, you can add additional levels, but for starting characters, we're just going to do 1 with 1 level bond.
Okay.
By default, characters can have up to 6 bonds. Each bond can have up to 3 emotions connected to it. Each emotion is a level. So if you spend a Fabula point to invoke that bond, then you can add however many emotions you have connected to that bond, if appropriate. What's a bond that Aaron might have? You could be muted. I heard you for a moment.
Can you hear me now?
That's it.
Okay. So I'm between one of 2. I have 2 thoughts in my head right now. One of them just being protecting the kingdom. Like, specifically the kingdom, the heirs, the royal side of it. I mean, that's his job. Right? So he's very committed to that. And then going a little bit deeper with the protecting Astra. Because, well, that only makes sense. So those are my two thoughts. I'm not sure which one would be more applicable.
I think it's up to you. Would you like to have a loyalty bond to Torncrest or to Astra herself?
No, let me ask Lynx, what do you feel? I don't want to imply anything without asking.
I think it would make sense to have more of that personal level connection. Like if we're about to go on a mission. Especially if your character is kind of at that retirement level. Like you would have probably trained me in, basic drills of, safety and stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think it would make sense that that's his bond would be her, and it makes sense. So I'll go with that. So I typed that in the first spot, correct?
Yeah, you type Astra in the first box, and then you would choose the appropriate single emotional bond to Astra. Next up is Karis.
So I was thinking of two. It's either a mistrust bond with the king or an inferiority bond with Astra.
I think inferiority bond to Astra would be more applicable. Oliver, how are you?
Oliver is going. I already had one kind of typed out while we were talking. While you were talking to everyone else, he's in the church, holding his hat in his hand, giving a prayer to his fallen comrades. There's nothing in here for like sadness or grief.
Not exactly. That'd be more like a theme.
I picked admiration
for your fallen comrades.
Yep. So he admires their bravery and their sacrifice.
I dig that. That's very good. Yep. How about for Reiner Stagson? Jesse?
I think I'll have a mistrust for the king as well.
A mistrust for King Roland.
I don't really know much about him, and he seems to be kind of like just some person trying to have us do stuff.
Last up is the Wanderer.
I feel my character his bond is more to the kingdom itself, and more specifically the idea of unifying the two kingdoms. And this current conflict is such a small picture, given like what we know of the history of this world. Uniting the two kingdoms is more my character's ideal. Like the king has put me on this team because I am capable of keeping Astra safe, but I don't have much in the way of personal loyalty to her or to the king himself.
So what do you think your bond would be?
Unity of the kingdom. I have almost like to the to Thorncrest itself. I have admiration for I have admiration and affection for for this beautiful land and its history, but a general I put mistrust, but I prefer to think of it as apathy.
Let's choose one: admiration or affection.
Then I'm gonna go with admiration.
And you can just return the other two to neutral, to blank.
Oh, okay. I misheard you on that one then. All right.
All good. Yes, we're starting with one, and the characters will build these up very quickly, I assure you.
Okay.
And therein, Astra wanders into the Temple of the Sword. The sword is one of the Arcanum. Not really a deity, but more like a higher power that some entities, some people within not just Torin, but the entire world call upon for additional magics. Within it, Angela says that Astra has spoken out of turn, and it was the perfect time to strike against Upper Torn. They have weakened themselves. You are a child still. Perhaps you don't understand the tactics and logistics required for war.
And how would you suggest I do that?
Perhaps this is a time to make a lesson. And now everybody right click on your token. In the bottom right, there's a little shield with 2 swords crossed behind it. You're going to enter initiative.
And that just rolls it for us.
That's when you enter initiative, and then we choose who the leader on initiative is. Narratively, I think Astra makes the most sense.
Okay.
So how do you actually roll initiative?
It's our first time rolling initiative. On the character sheet, there's the little clock where it says initiative.
Okay.
That's where you roll. And then everybody rolls, except for the NPCs. All of you roll. Astra is the leader on this. If you hit the 10 plus, then you're going to add 1 to Astra. If, with your bonuses, Astra hits 8, which is Angela's initiative, then you guys go first.
Okay.
So we all do need to roll right now then?
Everybody rolls initiative.
Do we roll what button?
Ooh. It's the little clock symbol. See the word initiative next to it? On the main page of your character sheet, it's the features tab.
Do you want me to roll for you, Jesse?
Yes, please. I am having trouble finding it.
I understand.
How come some of us have minuses to initiative?
Because of your armor.
Armor.
Oh, gotcha.
And so by default, initiative is based off of insight and dexterity. It looks like Astra rolled a 14, which is enough to beat it. And the Wanderer and Karas added another +2, so it would have been 16. So definitely, there's going to be 1 player character first. And I'm just going to keep track of initiative for you guys. But if you wanted to go to the cross swords, the second tab to the right, the way it works, because I'm using the Lancer initiative mod, all we do is your character acts, then we click on the blue arrow, your character went, then Angela would go, and then the next person would go. And any player character can go first now. Don't everybody talk at the same time. I think Astra might be a good choice.
Okay. So if I'm going to use my alchemy, I just roll, let me get back to that sheet.
We determine how many alchemy points, but how many inventory points you're going to be spending, because that determines if you're using basic, advanced, or superior alchemy.
Yeah, let me just use basic. So I'll use 3 of my inventory points. And that does not change automatically, I'm assuming.
It does not, but I have a macro that I can use, so I can adjust it for you unless you want to manually do it yourself.
I can manually do it. So let's see. I will roll.
First, click on the basic alchemy icon just so we have it in the chat.
The basic alchemy icon. The gadgets one.
Now, in your items, if you scroll to the bottom, there should be basic alchemy under consumables.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, now roll. Go ahead, click once each for the effect and the target.
Okay. The first one didn't link it to anything.
Yeah, let me see what's supposed to be. sometimes when I was making these tables, like it would time out and my stuff wouldn't add in, even though I put the work in. It just didn't save.
So 17 to 20 is every enemy present on the scene.
Updated. So that'd be Angela and her 2 lanterns.
And then I'll do the air damage.
Boom. So you spend your inventory points, you do the air damage.
And then I click the blue arrow.
And I like this. This is where I finally get to do something. You throw an elemental stone that whips them around and causes 20 points of air damage to all of them.
That was awesome, by the way.
Yeah, I loved it.
Thank you. And then I'm
Hey, why did I get a 20 on my character all of a sudden?
Did you get 20 damage done to you?
It doesn't say so on my health,
I
but
just seen a 20 pop up.
it popped up, but I didn't get any damage. So
It's
maybe
interesting that it showed up on your character sheet, because on mine it showed up on Angela and her lanterns. Worth noting.
It didn't deal any actual damage, so I think it's just a bug with the foundry.
Yeah, so the Fabula Ultima system is still experimental. It's not official in Fabula Ultima in Foundry yet. It's just not sanctioned. So I'm using, like I said, an experimental system.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna click on Astra, and you see that she she blanks out. Her initiative is done. Now Angela's gonna go. She's going to cast Drain Vigor on Astra. The way it works for a lot of damages is that of the 2 dice, one of them is known as the HR, the high roll, and it just adds whatever the bonus is. So that's 20 damage to Astra. I'll put that in. She drains life from Astra and heals back the damage, at least some part of the damage that was done to her. You can all see this. Everybody in here sees Angela the Fire Mage, a well-known court wizard, attacking the heir to the throne of Western Tauren. And that's where your characters are going to step in. Who is going to act next?
I'll take an action if somebody else. Oh, okay, now we go. Go ahead.
I guess I could kind of hang back and watch for people to need healing. And if no one needs healing at the current moment, I guess I could always try for a staff hit.
You could have something every character can do is guard. If your character wanted to run up and defend Astra, that means that Astra cannot be targeted anymore for this round.
Yeah, I'll guard.
So is that under those other abilities?
It's not under the other ability. I'm gonna have to put that into the other abilities. It's one of the default actions. It's kind of it's a learning curve for me as well. I'll make sure it's in there. I think I'm gonna get rid of the other actions and just put in the basic actions.
Question for the DM. I have an ability called High Speed. At the start of a conflict, you may spend 10 mind points. If you do choose one action, that would apply before the start of the first round. Lets me perform a free attack with a weapon you have equipped, or perform a hinder or objective action.
Click on the icon for that so we can see it in the chat, please.
I got you.
And yeah, so there we go. So let's say that this happened already. It's not a part of your action. Your character says can spend the 10 mind points, which I'll do that for you.
Is it MP?
It would be MP.
Okay.
And then, do you want to do an attack against Angela as she's attacking Astra, or do a hinder action? Because there's not really an objective action right now.
Yeah, attack against, and I'd say an attack against the fire Angela. Gonna go to items. Do I just click the icon on my gun, right?
Exactly. Just click the icon on your pistol. You hit Angela. It's 15 damage.
Okay. He doesn't say anything. But oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
I was just gonna say he doesn't say anything, but with one hand he's drawn his gun and shot. The other hand he's just got the shield on and he's putting on his hat. Like, okay.
As you see Angela conjuring her blood magic, and then in midair, as Astra throws the elemental stone, you fire at the same time. Is how I envision it.
Yeah. Firing from probably like from a different side of the room.
And
So
now
the two don't interfere with each other.
Reiner has said that he is guarding Astra, so Astra cannot be targeted anymore. It's another enemy's turn.
Okay.
This arcane lantern is going to do an elemental discharge.
Mm-hmm.
Targeting Noble, just a random person in the crowd. That's Aaron.
So I have a power crossfire that I can spend points to make it automatically fail.
Oh.
Oh,
Mind
useful.
points.
Put that into the chat. Yeah, I see it. So you're going to spend equal to the roll result. So let me roll elemental discharge. You need to spend
6.
I don't think anything. I don't think 6
Okay.
hits.
Okay.
But now is other player character's turn.
So I'll go if nobody else.
I was
You can
gonna
go
say,
ahead.
Well, somebody else was going to say something too.
Yeah, I'll go.
I'll go last because I have high speed. I did that already. I'm good with that.
I'll go after you then. Go ahead. I know somebody said they were going to go.
Go last.
I think that was for the Wanderer. Wanderer said he was going to go?
Oh, I thought he said I was supposed to go last because I was like,
No, I'm going last.
it's been a long day, everyone. I'm sorry.
Y'all good? Don't worry about it.
All right, I'm going to attack with my cool guy sword.
That does not hit Angela's defense. Period. You attack with the great sword. You charge forward. I'm going to move your token. And although you swing it, you miss.
Oh, sweet! I got my own animation and everything.
Like I
Fantastic.
gave you an animation.
That
Yeah.
is cool.
And then because Angela is an elite enemy, she gets 2 actions per turn. She's going to act again. Normally it would be a random. I'm going to make it random again because this person missed. And it is Romer. So that we decided Romer is the Wanderer.
Yeah.
It's a ranged attack. I'm going to use crossfire again.
Use Crossfire. Sorry, I don't think you need to because she's rolling
Okay.
really poorly. It's a 4 to hit. That doesn't meet his magic defense.
She's having a bad day.
She is. She's all flustered because she's suddenly outnumbered.
And she's been shot.
Wait, Karis,
He's like, come on,
Aaron,
teach
or
you
all
guys a
of us?
lesson. Wait, I'm not very good at teaching.
Go ahead, Aaron. You can go next.
I thought Angela had 2 moves.
She went
You just
earlier
did.
to cast, and that was her second move.
Oh, okay. So I am going to go ahead and use one of mine. I'm going to use Fulgar.
You do not hit her magic defense, but I'm still going to activate the magic spell for you.
Okay.
All right, so here's one thing. I'm going to have you roll again. Like we said, if this is against one target, sorry, never mind. Fulgur doesn't use Spellblade, so we're going to keep it.
Yeah. No, it's a spell that targets up to 3 people. So that's why I was using it. So
That's the spell image.
basically, yep. So oh, I missed it. Stepped away to grab my water.
I don't mind doing it again.
Right when you did that. Yes, please. Oh, that's awesome.
But you missed.
I'm glad I chose that one. Yeah, it's cool animation. Alright, that's it.
Another lantern's going to go. It's targeting Rover.
Ranged attack.
Yes, these are ranged. An 8. I need to fix Romer's armor real fast. That is another miss because it's supposed to be against 11.
I guess I'll shoot Angela with my crossbow.
Roll your crossbow.
So do I just click on the attack under the weapon? Or
Yeah,
do I click on the
you
icon?
just click on the icon for the crossbow.
Okay.
The image to the left.
There we go.
Oh,
Hit. $16 damage to Angela. And then because the enemies have ran out of turns, now it's Aaron's turn.
Alright, my turn.
Didn't Aaron go already?
I think Aaron did go because you tried that
Okay.
spell. I just forgot to
Yeah.
click him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I already went.
And
Is
that
it
was
to the-
one round. Maybe I clicked on Aaron on accident when it should have been Oliver. What are you doing?
So Oliver is going to try and basically break from the side, and it's gonna be a surprise to some of you, but he is going to shoot with his shooty McBang Bang.
Huge if true.
Oh,
6 does not.
I do get a bonus from Shmeh.
A +1 does not enough.
+1 is not enough.
And so I want people with ranged weapon or melee weapon mastery to go into your weapons and just add that value to the accuracy. That's the way it works right now.
Add that value to the accuracy. So I got a +1 accuracy bonus.
And top of the next one. Oh, yes?
Is that with tier 2? I have two.
With,
I have
with
tier
2,
2.
it should be +2, and 8 still misses.
Okay, good. Just checking.
No, perfectly reasonable question. Top of the next turn, and it is a player character, because like I said, because you won the initiative, player characters go first. Any of you can go.
So does he have to guard Astra again, or does that continue from round to round?
Let me check. Because some things go until the beginning of the next round, something to the end of the next turn.
Because he might want to renew that depending on what the rule is.
Make cover other present on the scene. If you do, they cannot be targeted until the start of his next turn. So
Okay, so
he
it's-
doesn't want to act. It's really anybody but Reiner right now.
I'll go ahead and go.
Go ahead, Astra.
So I will spend 3 of the alchemy points. And I will roll 2 dice. So you want me to click the skill?
Just so we see that what you're using. I mean, so it means you're right. 1 of each.
Let's see. Is anyone besides me hurt?
No. Not me, anyway.
I guess I will heal myself.
Alright, fully healed.
Alright, that's the end of my turn.
We have Angela go first. Angela casts Ignis, which I don't think is going to hit any of your magic defenses. And so this fireball goes wild with Romer in her face. It just hits the walls behind you guys. And then another player character's turn.
Alright, I shall go next. Darn.
Yeah, that's a miss. Would you like to invoke one of your traits and try to re-roll?
Let me see. Would that be melee weapon mastery?
No, it would be like your character is Lost Knight hunting for destiny. I think this would work with your identity. Or maybe if you want to invoke your origin as being from Torrencrest, this totally applies for that.
Then, yes, I will.
And you can just click Greatsword again. That is a hit. And this time your Greatsword strikes into Angela, doing 17 damage. Well, for Arcane Lantern, it's going to fire randomly. Aaron.
So, can I use the crossfire again?
Yes, now you can use Crossfire. It actually does hit. It's a critical hit. So you need to spend 12 to counteract it.
Okay, so I just do that on my sheet. Spend 12.
You can do it, or I could do it.
3. Okay.
Alright, so I just put Crossfire in. It has no effect if the accuracy was a critical success.
Okay, so do I
Never
still
mind.
waste my points?
No, you're still
Okay.
at 35.
Okay.
I'm going to roll a d6 to see if it's bolt, fire, or ice damage. And so ice damage on Aaron. Aaron's going to take 11 damage. And I put that for you. Who's next?
I'll go if no one else is.
Seeing. Go ahead.
Okay. As a big shock to everyone, I am once again going to do the shoot and bang. The shoot and bang. Hopefully bang, anyway.
That's a hit.
Very
There's 16 damage to Angela.
And let me see if this can. Nah, I can't do anything with that. Then that's what I do. I just point and shoot.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's Oliver's turn, and then another Arcane Lantern shot. This against Karis.
Can I use the crossfire against attack against myself?
You can, but
it missed.
it misses you. I appreciate how eager you are to use your abilities. They're either crits or misses so far. It's a player character's turn.
I'll shoot Angela with my
Believe I'm
crossfire.
up next.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you were doing crossfires.
Nope.
It misses Angela. And Angela's turn. She doesn't appreciate this guy in her face. She's going to try to drain your life.
Wouldn't be the first.
It does not meet your magic defense. Your will protects you. Aaron or Reiner?
Oh,
I'm still
definitely
up there
gonna
with
go
him,
next.
aren't
If you want.
We were saying that you were going to go last.
Yeah. How do you move your token? I'm just curious.
Click and drag, or when you have it selected, use WASD.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Sorry about that.
I tried dragging it. And it's not working. Well, whatever. It's not that important. Not that position really matters in this. So, yeah, Aaron got hit by the ice damage, and he's gonna be like, "Ow!" And then he's like, "I will return that, or at least attempt to return it." But he's gonna say he's gonna return it nonetheless. And he's gonna do his spell blade, which isn't really a blade, but whatever.
It's a sharp arrow. So
Yeah.
you can only do that with your elemental weapon spell.
Yes. So do I?
So you
Just cast-
could
I'm
do
clicking
it
the
with we could do it with Fulgur if you only targeted one enemy. Is my reading of Spellblade.
No, if I understand, it says when you cast an offensive spell. Okay, offensive spell. Then you could equip it to your weapon. So I'd have to cast Fulgur, then use that?
The Spellblade means
Am
that
I-
you cast a spell using your dex or whatever your weapon would be. As for elemental weapon, you choose a damage and then you cast it, and then you do that damage as a free attack with your weapon.
Yes. I always get them confused, sorry. Alright, I'm doing the elemental one, and we're gonna return the ice. Hopefully, anyways.
Alright, make your bow attack.
There we go.
It's a critical hit.
And it will be ice.
I'll give you an ice animation. So because it's a critical hit, not only do you hit and do 14 damage, you also get an opportunity.
Okay. Remind me, what were the opportunities again?
We didn't go over them in great detail. I'm going to pull up the list real fast.
Okay.
The opportunities are advantage. The next check performed by you or an ally gets a +4. Affliction. The creature suffers dazed, shaken, slow, or weak, one of the status afflictions. All the status afflictions lower a person's die type by 1. Bonding. You could, at this point, add an emotion to one of your bonds or create a new bond with one emotion. A faux pas. You can say that Angela makes a compromising statement. A favor. Your action earn you someone's support or admiration. Information. You can tell me a question about somebody on the scene and I need to answer you honestly. A lost item. An item is destroyed, lost, stolen, or left behind by someone. Progress. If we had a clock, then you'd immediately fill up 2 sections on it. Plot twist. Someone or something of your choice suddenly appears on the scene. Scan. You discover one vulnerability or one trait of a creature you can see. And then finally, unmask. You learn the goals and motivations of a creature of your choice.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna unmask. Actually, I want to see what's going on with Angela. What is her goals?
That was an excellent choice. Angela is an upper Tauren, you figure out. You see some tattoo on her upper thigh in all the scuffle, showing that she is one of the cultists. Her goal probably was she was trying to put West Tauren at a disadvantage against Upper Tauren, and thereby allow Upper Tauren to invade the wall and release their deity.
So, Aaron is gonna notice this, and he's gonna let the party know what he noticed. Is that a fair assumption? Can he do that?
Yeah, definitely. You can say that she's an Upper Taurenese.
So that's exactly what's gonna happen. He's gonna cast his elemental, hit her with the ice, and then notice that, and let them know, and that'll be the end of his turn.
Now it's Reiner's turn.
I'm still up there on close to people, aren't I?
You're just giving cover to Astra.
I guess I'm just gonna keep doing that.
Which does it gives your character resistance to any damage, and also Astra is going to be untargetable.
Also, I gotta kind of dip out of here. I got work soon.
Understandable.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to bow out myself soon.
That's very reasonable. Most of us are East Coasters, and just the way it is. So we'll finish up this combat. I'll run your characters. Thanks for coming, guys.
All right, good night, guys.
Good night.
Right.
See ya.
Alright.
Next round, it's the top. It's a player character turn.
All right, I'll go, and I want to try to use my shurikens to see how they work.
I don't have a great animation for the shuriken. I'll see what I can do.
So I click the icon, okay, and it rolls, and it's bad.
And I just compare it to her defense. It's a miss. I'm not going to give you an animation for that. That's it. That's your whole action.
Okay.
And now Astra is going to try to cast Ignis. Once again. It's going to be against Reiner, Aaron, and Karis because Astra is being guarded by Reiner. I believe that meets all of your...
Again.
It is a ranged attack. It's a spell. So it's a bit of a complication there. I don't know if spells are ranged attacks. Let me do a quick look, okay?
Okay.
I don't believe that ranged spells are supposed to be ranged attacks. I don't think you can interrupt this one. And so Reiner, Aaron, and Karis all take 25 fire damage. Do you want me to put that on you guys, or do you want to do it manually?
I got mine.
That's the player character's turn.
I am low on health. I am just saying.
So maybe you want to spend 2 inventory points to use one of your consumable items. The remedy will recover 50 hit points for you for 3 IP.
Yeah, nobody's got healing then. But I don't have to do that now. I'm just,
If you wanted to make this your turn, you could spend the remedy, or maybe you'd want to say Reiner is going to spend his turn casting the heal spell, but I think Reiner's going to stick on protecting Astra.
Okay. Yeah, he's the only one with healing, right?
As far as magic goes, yes.
Okay. Then yeah, I'll just do that. I don't want to take a risk next turn to get hit.
So bam, you spend your 3 IP, you recover 50, returns you to cap. Then it's an Arcane Lantern's turn. Targeting you. Good choice on healing.
Yeah.
It would have been a miss. Sorry,
no.
Chris.
That's
Worth
okay.
the risk.
I shoot her with my crossbow.
Make your shot. Oh, that's a good hit. Another lantern's gonna go. Hitting Romer unless Karis wants to step in.
Yeah, crossfire that.
14 mind points. And that's a player character's turn.
Who still hasn't gone this round?
Wanderer, Oliver, Reiner.
Mm-hmm. Do either of you care if I go?
I think it's gonna be you because actually, neither the Wanderer or Reiner are here right now.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and take the guard action and use the effect of Hawkeye. And I'd like to do... Oh shit. Got rid of that too quickly, didn't I? Wait a minute, I can just look in the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and do the SL times 2 extra damage with my next attack.
Nice.
And that's my turn. Also, I did not realize there's some free stuff that were on the Fabula Ultima website, and I can send these to you if you'd like.
You can send it to me. I gathered as much as I could, but I probably missed some stuff.
Oh no, this is stuff I didn't know about. Like, I just found this because I was alerted to it by a friend.
That's possible. Alright. She's going to swing the staff in her hand and try to wallop Romer with it. And his armor is too high. He's gonna try to greatsword her.
Oh.
Misses, and then Reiner's gonna guard again. Next round, player character turn.
All right, I'll go. I'll do advanced alchemy. Oh, if I drag it to the hotbar, it doesn't click it.
Don't drag it. Just click it in there. I'll modify that so it's going to tell us what you should roll next time. Like I said, I've never played with all these macros too much. It's mostly data entry. But
And you'll want to update the basic, advanced, and superior for their IP costs. They're not correct.
definitely.
This takes the last of my IP, and then I get to roll multiple stuff. So I'm going to roll 1 for target and 2 for effect. So 1 enemy, and then I'm going to have them suffer 20 dark damage. So I'll do that to Angela.
You throw dark elemental energies at Angela, doing 20 damage. It's cool how you don't need to make the attribute check. I didn't realize that the alchemist doesn't need to make hit rolls. You just make the roll and you just do the damage.
Well, I have many. I only have 10 IP, so 3, 3, and then 4. That's 3 uses per combat.
Yeah,
Until I can find a merchant. So it's kind of limited.
I suppose that would be it. And then Angela's gonna go. She's also out of her mind points. She has depleted herself, spurting out as much firepower as possible. Going to shoot. I chose this randomly. A fire dart at the Wanderer.
Fired a dart. Can I? Or did he miss?
It was barely a miss.
Okay.
Player character's turn.
Who hasn't gone yet? I know Oliver hasn't.
Everybody but Lynx is gone.
So everybody else needs to go besides Lynx.
Yes, I said the opposite of what I meant.
Okay. Do y'all mind if I go real quick?
No, go ahead.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna make that attack. And I need to get to items and blam.
That's a hit. 16 damage.
Yeah, now my Hawkeye should kick in, so I should. Where's
SL
that?
times 2, right?
It's not.
SL times 2.
What's the skill level on that?
Hawkeye's SL is 1.
So it's
Those
18
2 more.
damage.
Yes, it's 18 more. So it's 2 more damage. Yay!
You have now bloodied Angela. She's below half her health hit points. On the next round, Angela is going to try to retreat, shouting that the upper Taurens are here. She's trying to turn this on all of you guys that you are the dissidents, even though Aaron has identified her as the actual traitor.
She has the
Pull out
tattoo
my
on her
cell
thigh,
phone and
right?
take a picture of her. Be like, hey, look, here's the tattoo with my cell phone.
I think it's a little bit too high of a magitech to have a cell phone.
I'm.
Put it on TikTok.
So if I may go before, does that Angela's turn? Does she basically try to run away?
You just went.
Oh, okay. So we haven't gone into the new round. Darn it.
No, there's the whole round to still go.
Do her little fire things follow her?
The lanterns do not. So yeah, there's another
Did she
character who can go.
retreat?
So she's leaving the room.
She's leaving the room, but like it's kind of like a narrative thing where if people wanted to chase her and try to attack her some more, you could, but you have decisions to make.
So I'm gonna run after her wherever she went.
What then?
And shoot her some more.
You wouldn't even have to run after her if you wanted to shoot her.
Well, I at least want to keep. I don't have to run after her all the way, but just keep so
keep
that
the
she can't
pressure
get
on?
out of my sight. Yeah, keep the pressure on and shoot her.
Roll to hit. That is a miss.
And 9's a miss. Can I spend a? What can the Fabula points do?
If you can put it with one of your traits, you can re-roll. If you can put it with one of your bonds, you can add that bond strength to your roll. So definitely, I think that your bond to Astra might apply, and that would be a hit. Like a 10 would hit.
Okay.
Because you're like, you feel inferior to Astra, and here is your character showing superiority. I also think that your origin to Torinbale would apply.
Okay. So I'll use the inferiority complex with Astra to make it a hit.
Bam, you hit.
All right.
15
I
damage.
have
And
to go to bed. So good night, y'all.
Good night. Thank you for
Good
coming.
night.
Good night.
Yeah. If ever to
Yeah.
ask, yeah, good one.
I think I'm going to have to call the combat here to say that you guys scare away Angela, but I'm going to spend an Ultima point, and she kind of turns the narrative on you guys and saying that you guys are the enemies. I'm going to fast forward a little bit, and does it make sense that Astra, having heard that the Upper Taurians are trying to steal ancient technology from a nearby crater after the cataclysm, maybe Astra is interested in that?
Yeah.
And so you either steal or commission or negotiate your access to an airship. And all the people who helped defended you, they're going to be joining you on the airship to try and investigate what the Upper Taurians are interested in.
Sounds good.
I agree. And that's kind of like where we have to fold it neatly, put it in a little package. We saw the combat. This game is not designed for 6 players, but I can see maybe why that is. I'm going to have to do some adjustments there. Probably like more damage from the enemy, lower hit points on the enemy to make things go a little more quickly, more dramatically. But otherwise, did everybody have a good time?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
We're
I
down
enjoyed
to
this.
a couple of us. One of the things, and I know it's not really how this system is designed, but not having like a real initiative, I think it really slows us down because everyone wants to let everyone else go first.
That is something I've noticed with the Star Wars game as well. Was that when it's like who's gonna go? Like everybody like pauses. It's total silence for that moment.
Except for when somebody logically is
Well,
the
yeah.
one to go, like when I chopped that Dark Jedi in half.
Yes, that was a good one.
Well, like in this combat, like you're like, I was kind of in front and in a conversation, so you're like, you would probably go first. So I just went first every round because it made sense. But I think in the games
Yeah,
that are like this, because we saw it in the other game, the Avatar game, a little bit, where it was like it had multiple people that could go like at the same time, and it just.
But at least there's a tactic there where you pick your attack stance, and if you want to go near first, you pick the
Yeah.
It's the one that I have colored red. I forget which.
Yeah, so we might want to come up with at least a little bit better system for that.
Maybe I'll have to use the random target thing. Oh yes, go ahead.
My quick opinion is that I know that we had the turn order, and I would say, hey, what we did, unless narratively, like you said, you were in front, Astra. But with the exception of that, whoever went that turn, we keep that turn order instead of jumbling back and forth. So this person went, every round is same thing.
Well, to me, that's part of why I like random number generators or random whatever generators, because I'm terrible with decision fatigue and executive dysfunction. But if it literally was like, roll a dice, okay, you're up, roll a dice, you're up. I mean, just even a random table that has all of our names, I don't know if it can be set up to be mutually exclusive. That way it only rolls us once per round.
And I actually kind of like the initiative this way, but not with a game you never played before.
And with this many people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the randomness of it. I agree. But especially we're all getting used to our characters. You know, the only thing I'll add is I would prefer if we could still jump out of order if a bit like where I was like, hey, I need to heal myself. You know what I mean? I would hate to be 3 turns deep and I gotta wait for a healing and nobody else is gonna heal me.
I'm last and I need healed bad.
Yeah, I don't think we're never going to lock the initiative in, but after the first round, I think it's very reasonable to be like, all right, this is the expected initiative order, and then if everybody wants to step out, in and out, then that becomes the new one.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for playing, everybody. Any stars or wishes for the session?
I gotta say, it's a really interesting system. Like with the world building and the team building aspect of it, I think it's pretty unique compared to some of the other games I've tried here recently.
It is really unique. I think there's a lot of potential to it. I'm going to have to figure out some ways to kind of streamline the combat a little bit and the other little things. I don't like that because I'm using an experimental system. Mm-hmm. I did have to do like I have a macro to adjust hit points and MP points, like things like that, and for the little effects. I hope that they make it official sometime, so it's going to be a lot easier to implement those things officially.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, I kept track of my inventory points, which wasn't that hard, but it was still just like, it'd be cool if some of the stuff did it automatically.
Yeah, more automatic stuff would be cool, and I can make the macros for those things available to you guys. Like I can make them things you can put onto your hotkey bars just to make it a little bit faster.
Do you write the macros in JavaScript?
I do, and it's not easy. I'm not a coder. I'm just a game master.
Oh, I dislike JavaScript. It's not my preferred language, but I can do some of that stuff as well.
Yeah, I do too. That's kind of, I used to do that at work.
It's definitely not something that comes naturally to me. I can't do it in Forge because there's no troubleshooting option. I have to do the actual Foundry thing, and it's a lot of like, does this work? Does this work? Oh, what's broken about it? So probably like 90% of the time I spend coding is debugging.
Oh yeah.
So the last thing is that everybody, because 2 people spent 1 Fabula points, everybody got 2 experience points this session. Every Fabula point spent by player characters becomes experience points for the party. The drawback is that those Fabula points don't recover next session. If you start the next session with 0 Fabula points, you do start with 1. But otherwise, the only recovery is fumbles or when I introduce new villains.
Okay. Now, how does the experience work?
Normally, it's milestones, like if your character accomplishes big important things, you get additional experience. Because this was session 0, I'm only awarding Fabula experience points.
So do you want us to mark down 2?
You can put down 2 if you want to. I was going to go through it the next month or so and put down the 2 to make sure everybody has those. Okay. But the way it's supposed to work is at the end.
Sorry, I interrupted.
Well, I just meant more like mathematically, like so much experience equals a level, or is it
10
something?
experience equals 11 a level. However, if you get more than 10 experience during a session, it doesn't carry over. So you can lose some of the remainder.
So, question I have before we conclude about it continuing. What's the, turning into something more? What's that? I know you said it's a possibility, but you weren't sure.
It is a possibility. Unfortunately, 9:30 is just not a good time for me to run a game on my time zone. I think as far as you and me, Paul, I don't think it's going to be very easy for us to do a regular Monday through Friday game, maybe a Saturday game, maybe a Sunday game. But I think the weekdays are exclusionary for us.
Okay.
I think
And that's what I wanted to clarify. When I mentioned in Discord, you were referring to mornings? Because I was saying about mornings too, but that referred to mornings too, right?
Yeah, I have an 8 to 5 job.
Okay, that's what I figured. Same here,
Yeah.
obviously.
Of course. But our next session, which I have already cut out into my time schedule, is January 22nd. I'm going to be going straight from Savage Worlds game into this Fabula Ultima game that day. It's going to be a nice gaming night for me.
Sounds like
Lynx
it.
and I are in
Yeah, I
both
mean,
games,
everything
too.
else, stars and wishes wise, I mean, was already stated. I think just the combat needs to be adjusted slightly so there's less lag with the turn order. But otherwise, I like the world building. I like the character part of it. I like the way that you explained it. Well, I know we got a lot. Oh, I have a question, but I'm going to message you. There's no rush on that one. But that's it. I enjoyed it. Thank you for running it.
I enjoyed it too. Thank you so much for asking for it because this is really your game.
Yes. I know. And I appreciate everybody for participating and allowing me to actually try this game because I've been looking forward to it.
I have as well. So next session, it's going to be in a little bit over a month, Monday, January 22nd. And like I said, I'm good to go late that day. I've already cut out the time in my week for it. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys online. Next session between me and Chris, Thursday. And then me and Lynx, it's going to be that same day. We're going to have a long day together, Lynx.
Yeah.
Have happy holidays, everybody.
All right, good night, y'all.
Enjoy the rest of your week.
Oh, yeah, happy holidays.
See ya. Happy holidays.
Ready?
Well, I'll see some of you before.